else hit you low.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jacinda and I am 25 years old from New York City and I work in organ donation.
How did you get into organ donation?
I wish I could tell you that it was like a calling, like God himself brought me. I swear it was because I was working in Newark at a nonprofit and I just was, you know those days when your manager pisses you off and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so done. I could do something so much better. And funny enough, I got an email and I just went for it. They called me the next day. So go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. That's
what is your experience as an organ donor? Like, explain your job.
So what I do is when your family member is at that point in their life where they're transitioning, I come and I speak to your family to see if you guys would be interested in giving that gift of life. That's really all there is to it when you put it on paper, but in person it's really guiding families through the hardest day of their life.
Right. So what was your original dream? Like, what was your original goal?
I'm a first generation African, daughter, and I'm firstborn. So clearly I only had 4 job choices, and that was an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, and maybe something cool, but that's like limited. I wanted to be a doctor, not just because my parents drilled it into my head, but every single summer I would volunteer at a hospital near my house, and I learned to love what the doctors did every single day. And I was like, I want to have that impact on somebody too.
What are some things that you learned through the process of being an organ donor facilitator?
You know what I've learned? I wish I could tell you like the stats, right? That 8 lives could be saved when you decide to be an organ donor, and 75 people could be impacted. I wish I could tell you that, but I think what I've learned is that life is so short. Even if you live to be 99 years old, it's not long enough for the people that love you. So I've learned more than anything that love is so important and life is too short. Way too short.
Yeah. Have there been any like scenarios that you've had to talk to a family and it was like difficult for you even?
Yeah. There was a situation where a woman, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, they have a 1-year-old together, and he had come home from a hard day's work. She lived with him. She didn't have any family or friends. She moved to New York to be with him. They've been together for 10 years. Shout out to True Love. She comes home from working, and he didn't make it into the house. He passed, he had a heart attack, and he fell on the stairs, right in front of me. So she came home and she found him. For days, she was by his bedside praying, bringing their son to see him. She had her family come from their state. She didn't have anybody. And the day that we had to tell her, unfortunately, he's gone, it was the hardest thing I had to do because I'd never seen, I'm 25, she's 28, and we have such different lives. But just seeing somebody who's not that much older than I am going through the hardest thing that they could ever go through, I think changed me. I live in a little bubble, I'm grateful to have my family, to have my friends. Seeing her lose such an important person, and just having her, she had to be a mother at the end of the day. She had to be strong for her child, and she didn't have anybody else to rely on. I've never seen strength like that. It literally changed the way that I look at things. Life not only can be so much worse, but there are people who are so much stronger than we give them credit for. I don't think I would be able to be her that day. It's actually sad to say her birthday was the next day. We're telling her the love of her life is dead today, and tomorrow is her birthday. And it was one of those things where we all cried. Everybody, the staff, the doctors, hearing her wail. Hardest thing I've ever had to do is tell her that he's not coming back, because we wanted to tell her something different. and working with death is so uncomfortable, but it's ultimately what we all have to go through. It's just one of those things, you know?
Because death is like inevitable, what are some things that you would want you would want to remind people to do while they're still here?
Everything. Do everything. You want to go to that party, and I'm starting small, like go to that party, talk to that boy or girl or whatever. Do what you want, because at the end of the day, when you are in that hospital bed, when your family and friends are talking about the life that you lived, it has to be something that you're proud of too. It can't be just because your mom told you to do this, just because you have to be a good wife or a good mother or whatever. Live life the way you should. Every time I talk to a family, when that person was authentic to themselves, the people that surrounded them were true to who they were. And everything that they did was, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud that they were able to do this. There was a woman who had gotten raped. It was a terrible situation. From that situation, she decided she wanted to dedicate her life to being an activist. And when she passed away, everybody who was there was talking about the change that she did, and it's because she had the courage to decide that this is what she wanted to do. There are people who live ordinary lives, you know, just like you and me.
Yeah.
And they still live their life to the fullest. Whether it meant, you know, falling in love with the right person and being 100% a good father, a good mother, a good friend, you know, being authentic to themselves. I'm telling you that you think you have a million years because every day seems like forever. But it's not that long. And we never know when our time's going to come. So don't wait until you get really sick. Don't wait until you get all your money. Don't wait until everything is aligned. Go for it. And if it's for you, it's always going to be for you.
You didn't really like seek this role. It kind of found you.
Yeah.
And why do you feel that you were chosen for it? Because I feel like to be able to do the job you do, you have to be so strong. Like,
And
I could never.
I'm telling you right now, I'm the weakest girl you ever gonna meet.
Yeah.
I cry every single day before I go to work, after I leave. When I was working in Newark, I had a very simple job. And one day, there was a mix-up, and I had to work with grieving mothers. From that day on, I chose to actually work there. I told them to transfer me there. And when I don't want to say feel called, but I do want to say that when I was talking to them, I realized that who else was going to talk to them? Nobody else wanted to talk to them. They were going through something so terrible. And it's uncomfortable for a lot of us. Who wants to sit there and talk to a mother that her child has passed away? Like, putting yourself in that situation willingly is not fun. But when I did it, I saw that I could make a difference. And I think that my true goal in life, my true calling in life is just to make a difference. And it would have been just a difference for that mother or for that mom, you know, for that friend. But it changed something for them. And that's all I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So being able to do this is being able to enact change on a completely different level. Whether or not they decide they want to be an organ donor, I get to I have the privilege of talking to somebody on the worst day of their life, such a private moment that not many people get to see. Not that I get to see that, but I get to help you through that. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's an honor in itself.
Have you taken any L's, like, in your process, or
Hell yeah.
like, have you ever felt like you said the wrong thing?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We used to do assimilation training, and actually, I would call all my friends every day after work, snot coming out of my nose, locked in the bathroom, because you think, like, you know, we talk all the time. You have to think of everything on such a different level. I remember, this is actually not funny. I was talking to a family member, and it's not that I said the wrong thing. It's just that some people aren't ready to accept that somebody has passed away. And so I had, told them, she was loved. And it seemed like a very small word, but it made them feel so upset. And this was somebody that had, given me hugs and walked me through the hospital, and now they were, upset with me. And it was uncomfortable, to say the least, because all I wanted to do was help. But take L's every day, because we're still people. We're still people who are dealing with, watching you be in pain. So it's hard. You know, sometimes we don't think, sometimes we don't realize what we've said is the wrong thing.
Right.
And I say a lot of the wrong things.
For the future, like, how do you see yourself pivoting from this experience? Like, what's next? Do you see yourself staying within it and building off of it? Do you see yourself doing something else?
I think that I see myself doing something else because I still have a goal. I still have a dream that I want to accomplish. And I do want to live by the words that I said and accomplish those dreams. But right now, I think the next step for me would be to work in a higher field in death and dying, because I just realized that that's just maybe where I want to be. And if I become a doctor, you know, and I will, I want to work in like palliative care. So I think the next step would just be, you know, finding another place to really grow.
Would you have any advice for anyone out there?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, I got an email one day and I got the call the next day. Like, anything is possible. The world is so, like, the world is not linear. Your life doesn't have to follow steps. Like, you can do anything. You can send a cold email. You can call somebody. You can meet somebody on the train who can be your next boss. Like, put yourself out there. Do what you want to do. And when you get to where you want to get to, everything that you do, give it your all. Because you're only here for such a short amount of time. You want to feel like you did something. So whatever that is, you know, go for it. Put yourself out there. And remember that this is like your life. You are the first player in this game. Everything is yours. There are no limits to what you can do when you decide you want to do something.
Perfect.